Greetings and welcome to the 1/6 Scale Man. Proudly presents another episode of The Corner. I'm your host, Leo Rockwell, for the 1/6 Scale Man YouTube channel. Do me a favor, hit that like button if you haven't already, like this tells you to do. Hit that bell notification so you're always up to date as to what we got going on over here on the channel. So you already know what day it is. It's no surprise to anybody who's actually out there right now watching. It is a crazy day. It is a day that's going to be long remembered. One of those days that a lot of people have been waiting for the longest time, and it's finally arrived. It's finally here. We have two, amazing individuals in here. One that you don't really know about yet, and one that you do. You know what I mean? One that it's been kind of secret. It's a secret, like it's so to speak. I was surprised when Joost even kind of hit me up and say, "Hey, this person wants to come in." I was like, "What? Really? On my show?" That's what I'm talking about. But anyway, definitely we got a surprise coming in here in just a few moments. But again, make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification. I hope you're basically ready for this to go live here. Before we kind of jump in, again, do want to put this out there. Halloween initiative is full-fledged ahead. All proceeds, super chat goes towards such a great cause, and that's basically making sure that kids have costumes for the holiday candy as well. They'll be able to we'll supply that to families who are in need. Also Salvation Army, we're partnered with them. The local, we got a couple of charter schools within the area that we're doing this with. So definitely want to put that out there. Thank you very much for your proceeds and everything that you've actually done thus far. We definitely do appreciate that. Also got to pay homage to where I normally get my figures from. Starting off with my man Underground, my man Ray over there at Underground Figures. Definitely, if you're looking for it, he got it for you. NRD shipping handling is definitely reasonable. On top of that, he's full transparent when it comes to communication. Make sure you sign up for that newsletter so you're always up to date as to what he got going on over there. Gotta give a super duper shout out to my man Ray over there at Hogwarts Toys. Looking for the latest and greatest, he definitely got you and will definitely take care of you when you need your figures, comic books, as well as a sticker that he'll actually supply with you. Nice little care package. Got to give a shout out to my man Comic Relief and Comic Collectibles. If you're looking for your comics, you're looking for your 1/10 scale, 1/12 scale figures, whatever you're looking for, he got it for you. He'll definitely take care of you. And also, last but not least, my man Brian Wong over there at ModuCase ModuSpace. If you're looking for an incredible display, he'll definitely take care of you, as he always does, because he's definitely good like that. So just wanted to put these guys out there and let you know where you can get your stuff from. All right. So without further ado, we're going to definitely jump in here. I'll get to the chat here in just a minute. Now, before we do this, though, do want to let y'all know that this is going to definitely be uniform. Now, again, it's not going to be done like it used to be. We'll try to get as many questions in as possible. If it's an important question to you, the super chat is basically there. You can actually put that in, and I'm pretty sure Joost will answer them as they come, as long as it's constructive. Again, we want to be positive on this channel, no negativity. Again, Joost is taking time out of his day to be here with us for such an occasion. You know what I mean? So do show Jazzinc some respect. They've been basically doing this for a while, and this is a passion project for him. He's not doing this just for himself, but he's doing this for everybody, because unlike a lot of companies, he has love, passion, and his heart is in the right place when it comes to these pieces. Call me a shill if you want to. I'll wear that like a badge, because Jazzinc is the truth. So it is what it is. But anyway, without further ado, let me bring the guy in, and the man of the hour. We got Joost in the building. What is going on with you, man? How you doing? You ready for this, man?
I am excited, tired, a whole bunch of stuff, because there's a lot going on. There's been a crazy few days. There's been a whole lot of up and down with what to do with the SKUs, and today is the day, moment of truth. So much hype. If I'm to believe everything I've read and heard, that this is going to be huge, today we find out.
Today we definitely find out, man. That's what it's all about. We definitely do find out. So glad to have you here with us, man. I know you've been prepared for this for such a long time. I know I remember since its inception, since you started talking about it, I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait. And the moment is finally here, for everybody to basically, figure out what they want to do, where they're going to get it from. I mean, but again, I think everything thus far is reasonably priced, bro. Like, I think you're killing it in that space. So we thank you very much for everything that you've actually done and you continue to do for this community and in collecting. So basically, hats off to you. I know everybody out there is definitely excited. for you to be here. But Yost, we got a special guest, right? Like,
yeah, it's not Michelle Pfeiffer, everyone. So not that,
it's not Michelle Pfeiffer,
but
but
just as good.
but just as good. Like, we got somebody in here who literally, I mean, because he's done this and because he's been a part of this journey, I mean, it's nice to put the face on the screen, but he's going to be somebody well known if he hasn't already been well known. Everybody knows about him, but he's going to get mad love after this. So much that he's gonna be like, yo, come on, paparazzi gonna be around here. Everybody, well, come on. This is Catwoman. I got plenty more to come. But definitely, man, they got to give this guy a shout out, man. So definitely, without further ado, I mean, Yost, do you want to do the honors and introduce him before I bring him in, bro?
Yeah, this is the man of the hour. This is the man who brought you the amazing work, the studying Catwoman for, let's say, 7 years, maybe even unhealthily. Mm-hmm. And he's the main sculptor, the main designer on our Catwoman project. So shout out to Mr. Sean Debs. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah. Hi. How's it going?
How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me.
Yo, I gotta say, man, like just literally, bro, I would like to live here in front of everybody. We got 240 people in here watching. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. But Sean, I mean, definitely what you have actually done right now for this community in this space, and what you've been able to accomplish with this piece is legendary, bro. People have been asking for this for the longest time. You don't understand how many people have actually wanted this piece. It's been a passion for a lot of people, and for you to do this, it says so much and it means so much. Yost bringing you on with this project. Man,
well, I wouldn't be able to do it without Joost. I've been doing this as a passion project for years, as he said, probably unhealthily. But, he's handed me this. And I had companies approach me before to do her. And because it's quite a close project for me, I had to turn them down because we weren't on the same wavelength. Yeah. And when Joost came along, he was like, let's just do this right. And I knew this was the person I needed to do.
Yeah, bro. Like it's I mean, come on, man. Like you're what we've seen and just since the project started and what we've seen thus far and just the progression of it, you had pretty much everybody locked in from the word go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody was locked in from the word go. They knew exactly what it was that they were getting and what they were after. And once they saw it, it was just like, yo, the conversation just ensued. I haven't seen much of an explosion like this since the 89 Batmobile, but I haven't seen it like it's been definitely an explosion on so many different levels, man. So definitely thank you for being here, bro. We definitely appreciate your gift to us. Actually, it's crazy because it's sort of like your gift to me because my birthday is next Friday, so I get to basically celebrate today, man. So definitely appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. I just want to give people the absolute best, and Joost is on the same way. But we're more interested to create art, and that's what our first conversation together was. I said, I want to do this right. I'm not interested in just making money. I just want a beautiful piece of art out there, and we need to just keep on doing it until we get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how many head sculpts did we do, Sean?
Too many.
Way too many.
Something. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea on the development cost for the Catwoman between Sean and Viola, and then who's the person who made the suit for us? The first suit. Shout out to him or her.
Toya the Taylor.
Yeah. So we got Toya. Then we got Indigo doing the diorama and everything.
Marcel.
And then Marcel Seltzer. Together, the cost, and my wife keeps track of this, the cost for the development of Catwoman was close to $17,000 already.
Wow.
And that's just a prototype.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you add all the molds as soon as we get done, and So it's fun for later to talk about how are we going to do the surface mounted stitches.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking prototype plus production cost without having a single figure produced. We're going into the 6 figures.
Yeah. Wow, bro. That's what I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about earlier on. I know a lot of people are saying that the links are up. A lot of people also said that the page, I guess 16 Kits page crashed. So
Yeah, I saw that too.
that it's
Spec Fiction
crashing
is
right now.
working.
Yeah.
Ours is working. Spec Fiction is working. 16 Kit is seeing too much traffic, I guess.
Yeah, 16 Kid is definitely seeing a lot of traffic there. So you have, in case people don't know, you can, for especially for us here in the North American market, you can get it through either 16 Kit or Spec Fiction. So you do basically have those two options of where you can go to get the piece. I kind of knew. Now, here's the thing: when they said that the site crashed, that says so much about the project. And that says so much about the piece. Like if you're saying that the site itself is actually crashed, then that, yeah, so much that I was like, yo, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I have to wait. Like I literally have to wait now, because if it's doing that and there's so much traffic in there, like I'm running this show live, just like, you guys are here with me, but it's just like a waiting period. But I want to ask you guys, starting with you, Joost, because I want to kind of get the gist of this journey. And also, I think we had a $5 super chat by my man Bob Dylan. Yeah.
Oh,
now,
this is to Sean, I guess.
Yeah, this is Deshaun, I guess. There we go. So shout out to Bobby D, man. Like, yeah, Bobby D. In case, Sean, if you don't know, like Bobby D. And Bob Dylan is a legend in the 16 scale community. When I say he's a legend, he's a legend. He's like almost he's like an exalted one in the like literally, like his knowledge of how to get certain things, and even him, like just conversations that I've had with Bob in the background and stuff like that, like this was definitely a passion for him, you know what I mean? And to see this, so do want to give a shout out to Bob. We got my man, brother, cousins Jay is in the building as well. He did a nice little video yesterday, letting everybody know about the pricing and stuff like that. So definitely shout out to him. Again, want to get my round because there's a lot of people in the chat that I want to say what up to. And I'm pretty sure that they'll actually have questions. But Joost, your journey, when was it that you really knew that this was something that you wanted to tackle? And tell me a bit about that, and tell me basically how you got connected to Sean, to kind of get this journey started. Like, how did that actually happen, bro?
Oh, okay. So the journey for the figures started 2 years ago, 2 years and a month, actually. And I might have told the story, so I'll keep it short. But basically, Warner Brothers' first 3-year contract, because it's in terms of 3 years, was coming up. They loved what we've done in the first year, and then they the first 2 years, and they were like, "Okay, we want you to grow," because I turned into a gold tier partner in the second year already, which was kind of cool. And so they invited me over and we talked, and I basically said, I still think a lot is not happening in the figure space that should be happening, same as it was for us with the vehicles and all that sort of thing. I mean, we've seen a couple of players in the market and they kept tackling the same things. And we think there are so much other cool things. And of course, the first one I thought of was the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman. That was the easiest choice for me. But as you might already know from earlier stories, it took about 18 months to get through the whole process of being able to say, yeah, we can do this. We're at the 11th hour. We got blocked as you know now, in North America. And so regardless, before that, I knew we had to get the best of the best on the team. And this is the cool thing, which is also what I think you can see in the end result. If you compare it to, well, what we let's not talk about that. Let's talk about what we do is so much fan driven because we are such hardcore fans ourselves. We are our own worst critic in many cases, and so to get someone like Sean on board, because I saw his work and it was a no brainer for me that I wanted Sean on this. And I remember I sent him a message. I don't even remember what platforms, but at first I didn't get a response. Turned out you don't no longer use that, and I was like, oh my god. I was nervous. I really wanted Sean on board on this, and we finally connected. And it was good from the first meeting, at least for me, right, Sean?
Yeah. I mean, you were serving me a gold platter. I could not say no.
I think it's I think it's, like we always say this in like the comic space, that when you marry a good writer to an artist, you accomplish something that's phenomenal. And it's that relationship that's built to where as you kind of bounce off the ideas and you guys can come together and create something. I think that what you were able to accomplish with this, bar none, is simply amazing. Sean, how long have you been in this space? And, just kind of tell me, historically about your journey, through, your work, your art, and how did you feel once this was presented to you?
Oh, it's a long story. I'll try to make it short. I started off in film work, doing special effects in film work. So I was traditionally a traditional sculptor with clay.
Yeah.
And I worked on a couple of the Harry Potter films and things like this. And then because film work was drying up at that point, I went into toys. Anyway, but even from those years ago, from back into 2005, I was sculpting Catwoman as a clay piece. I'm very clumsy. The piece kept falling on the floor. So digital work was it was much better for me. Anyway, I've had a few different versions over the years of trying to get better and to nail this figure down. Mm-hmm. So when you contacted me about it, and he said, let's just do the best thing that we can.
Yeah.
And he was on the same wavelength, and I said, right, it needs to be this. It was just a no-brainer. I could tell straight away that this was the time, and it's one of the most precious projects for me, because I started it such a long time ago. I think it's probably one of my favorite film characters ever. That's why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was it. But when he contacted me and realized we were on the same wavelength, he was able to give me the freedom that I needed, and it was great art director as well. Always great feedback.
Yeah.
It just went so smoothly.
Were you nervous because finding out that you get Michelle Pfeiffer's blessing to do something like this, how were the nerves? Like when that happened, like were you like, oh we got her blessing to do this, so it's like almost feel like she's watching. You know what I mean?
It was, definitely.
I can only imagine like how it is. Like I can only hear the conversation between you and Joost being like, okay, Sean, so we're going to do this project, right? So we got to go ahead. One thing though, Michelle is the one who gave her blessings as well. So
I remember that conversation.
It was surreal for us both, man. Yeah. I mean, having watched this movie, 30 years ago, up on the big screen, and now you get a reply from the person who made this movie. So cool. Wonderful.
I know it's definitely a dream. We got a super chat, a 1999 super chat. Tupac Shakur, my favorite actress in a comic role. It was never in a doubt. Thank you, Joost and artist team, for making it happen. So that's from Randall W, bro. Thank you very much for that, Randall. We also got a $10 super chat. Thank you so much for making dreams come true, Mr. Sean Debs and Joost, Jazzinc Dioramas family, and of course, Mr. Rockwell for hosting. Thank you very much for that, bro. We definitely appreciate that. And yeah, man, like you're getting the praises from so many people. S Beam, 26 months. Thank you, Joost and team, for bringing us this Catwoman. Definitely, you're getting like a lot of praise here. We got my man Dirk Diggler stunt double. I apologize if you answer this, but we have seen the artist sample of this figure. When will we see the sample from the factory that you are using?
Right. So that's a good question. And I think it will take quite a long time. So maybe I should take this time to explain a bit about the process.
Okay.
So there's not one factory. We're working with several suppliers, depending on which part of the process you're talking about. So we got one factory who specializes in the seamless bodies, and that's one of four we talked to and tested out. So this is, we think, the best out of the four to make that custom seamless body, and this is going to be the linchpin on which the whole project kind of twists and also has to wait. So starting with that. So if you look at the picture you've put up, is a good one. What I find lacking in here is, so I think the upper legs are a bit too thick and muscular on this, but she doesn't have the hips that you like to see, the one that you see in the movie. So and we've modified a Fison body as close as we could get it, but it's just not completely there. And we have a perfect design for the body. And so we ended up having to make a completely custom body that's a one-off body, just going to be used for this project and everything. And so having made that choice, then you have to see how fast can you get that made, because the rest has to wait for all of that. Because I don't think it's feasible to start any earlier than December on the tooling that is needed to make, because you got to do a couple of test samples, and the tooling production takes about 4 to 5 months. This is the same as making one of our big cars, right? Then you can get a couple of test shoots, and then you can make quite a few so that you can see where's the variation and the standard deviation in different sizes. It's only then that you can retailer the suit and this the corset, and the same goes for the hands and the claws and the gloves and the boots. Right, that's all dependent on what comes out of the molds and what is the final shape and everything, and the tolerances for that custom body. So if you're realistic, we're talking May to June, if everything goes well, mind you, that we have that final custom body in hand where we can then start tailoring stuff around it. So in the meantime, we can make the dioramas, we can make the bases, we can start on the head sculpts, because that's, again, a different factory. The herring, again, a different factory. And the herring, by the way, is also quite difficult, because people know how to do a whole head of hair, right? They have these standard processes, but this is a custom head with 10 different openings where all the different pieces of hair need to go in. So they were kind of flummoxed with this. This is one of the hardest things to price out. But going back to that custom body, then you have the custom suit that has been retailored. Then you go to another factory that can do the surface mounted stitching and the surface mounted strips. So this is another thing that I'm going to be discussing with the group. Technically speaking, so now let me ask you, Lael, when you saw this suit, did you think it was just rope holding pieces together, or how do you think that was made? What did you see?
Okay, so you're asking someone who isn't hypercritical about things. You know what I mean? And I always believe in the philosophy of trust the process. You trust the process, you wait it out, things will happen when they're supposed to. And from a figure standpoint, I'm not really as judgmental as, you know, I'm not going to say judgmental because that's kind of harsh. I don't want to say judgmental. I want to say I'm not as really critical or really zoned in. As long as I get the best representation,
Right.
I'm fine with it. As long as I know what I'm going to do with it, I'm fine with it. So I think for me, I knew that from the way it looked, it had that level of accuracy that I know I would have actually seen. But I also know that the level of in who you are, from a perfectionist standpoint, that
hmm
you're going to want to supply us with the best possible representation. So it was just a waiting process for me. I wasn't really, zoned in to the point where I was going to, be completely on edge about it, whatever. I knew it was just going to happen, but from what I'm seeing so far, it looks good. Yeah.
Right. So then maybe you're not the right person to ask this, but I'm going to
Nope.
be asking the group, and maybe somebody in the people in the chat can respond to
Yeah.
this. So
Yeah.
Sean, will you enlighten us in how the actual movie suit was made?
Yeah. So she's wearing a strapped-in PVC suit, right? And it literally had to be sewn onto her skin. We all know this.
Mhm.
The stitches, however, because it would have made the suit too flimsy, too easily to break, they're actually sculpted and then molded in a flexible material like silicone or foam latex. I'm not entirely sure which one. And then they were glued on. So when you look at in the movie, you're looking at strips of glued on sculpted stitches. Only on the cowl it's one sculpted piece, but on the suit it's like the PVC suit with sculpted stitches on top. So if you zoom into some images, you can see where the stitches are sculpted, and kind of you can see the strips because
Yeah,
they
yeah,
are
yeah,
kind of strips,
Exactly. And this is one of the tricky things. So doing this, I have learned to identify 4 different levels of accuracy, and I hope I can remember them all now. So you've got screen accurate, you've got prop accurate, you've got movie poster accurate, and then you've got the last one, which is what some people call the head canon version. And what version do you make? So if you want screen accurate, then there's all the post-processing and color grading and all that sort of thing to contend with. If you want prop accurate, then things might look different from what you expect. And the most famous story of that is one of the Jimmy, either Kimmel or the other one, was a big 1966 fan. And then he saw the number 1 car for the first time for real. And he was like, dude, this is either some cheap replica or it was a stunt car, right? This is not the number 1. This is a piece of crap. Well, no, this is what the actual prop looks like. And you can say this for many props. Then on movie posters where things are usually photoshopped, things look different again. And then finally, and again, a good example is the 1966, is how you remember it. So for the 1966, we did not make the movie prop. We made a highly idealized version with much shinier and much better paint, much better sculpt, much better fit and finish than the actual car.
Mhm.
Now, for this, the question is the same. I never knew that it was glued on strips. So in my head canon, these were just some pieces of thread that were glued on or whatever. I didn't even think too hard about how they did it, but I was not expecting to see the strips. And I can show you pictures, even ones that were released by the studio, where you can actually see the strips. So then the question becomes, do we reproduce the suit with or without those strips that were used on set?
Some statues you see of her produced, they do this. They're very much like prop accurate, as you said. However, I argue that the intention was for them to look stitched.
Right.
That's the intention of the director. The intention.
Exactly.
And I feel like that looks better. It comes across better. We don't need to see the edges of the script. So
right, but what do you do? Because the thing is, let's go back to where I took this side tangent in the story. We're at the part where the body is done. We've got the newly remade suit that is now soon to fit the new proportions of the body. Then you make a bunch of those suits, and the way these things are created, like if you take like the Spider-Man suit from Hot Toys, then there's surface mounted webbing, right?
Mhm.
So basically we're using the same kind of process for this Catwoman. So if you look at the cheap, which is the Eternal Toys one, I think, that one's just printed on 2D, printed on the black fabric. You got the suggestion of stitches, but we're going to be so it's going to be raised stitches for us. Now, the way that it's done is they actually create film of every layer of that stitch, and that can be up to 10 layers, 10 films, where you build up that effect. And it would not be too hard to add a layer or two of film to create those strips, but really thin, thin, right?
Yeah.
So technically it's possible, but I'm having this discussion, and luckily we have a lot of time. But people in the chat, what would you prefer? Would you prefer the way and I love how you said it, Sean, the way the artist and the director intended it to look, like stitches on the silicone, or would you like it to look more like the prop and more like you see in some of the pictures that we have been able to find?
Yeah.
I mean, funnily enough, we come across the same issues as they probably did when they're doing the film, but in life size, we're doing it in 1/6 scale. They had to figure out a way of having this vision that Tim Burton had, which is a stitched together, very shiny PVC suit, and not fall apart each time she puts it on. Because, like, realistically, if they did it stitched up, it would be impossible. They would have to keep doing it. So they came up with this idea, and now me and Joost are coming up with, talking about the same ideas and processes that will go through the factory of how to recreate that. We cannot stitch directly into the fabric, because that's just going to fall apart. When the customer has these figures, the fabric's going to rip and everything. Having exactly the same issues as the film did, which is kind of fun.
And not only that, but it would be impossible to get, if you actually were able to sew these things together without it ripping apart, you would never get the stitches in exactly the same place. Exactly the same place. And this is one of the things that we've already seen in the development, where we get people like, I'm sorry, but I think this should be like a 1/10 of a millimeter to the left. So if you had to hand sew them, with that, which is technically not even possible, not how they made it, but it wouldn't be possible, because you need those stitches in exactly the same space, because there's about 5% of collectors who really care about that stuff. So you have to do it right, like we love doing. So,
it was crazy, because it was a rumor back when they had asked, I think they had asked the director, well, why, you didn't use, zippers in the place of the stitching.
Right.
And one of the comments that he made was, because I simply didn't want to cheat. If I made it easier, then I just basically would have made it. He said he meets in every aspect of what he does in filming, and even like, the development, or when he collaborates with the costumer, he wants the best representation, but he wants that realism of what the everyday aspect of a person in the costume would feel like in that particular world. You know what I mean? He knows everything is overly exaggerated, but from her perspective and how zany she is, he wanted it to seem like she just stitched this together out of nowhere, pieces and stuff like that. So zipper, he would have been like, that's too easy. What's the thought process behind someone who would just say, I'm just going to add zippers? He said, it's never that easy. That's just something you throw together. You know what I mean? So now I get that. We got a super chat, but my man Alec, he said, happy Catwoman release day. Will Michelle Pfeiffer be receiving the 2-pack or a single? Figure is amazing looking. You guys killed it.
Right. Yeah. She's definitely getting the 2-pack, so that she got everything we have to offer in one go. And of course, that backdrop diorama. We hope to get a picture with her there.
Yeah.
So is it okay if I answer some of the questions I see to come by here?
Yeah. You definitely can. I was going to go to this super chat as well. Sean Debs is my guy. Thank you for Foxy Brown, Pam Greer, Figure Brother, Secure, Catwoman already. With your collaboration with Joost, I know this will be spectacular. Thank you both for your brilliance. But yeah, you can go ahead and answer your question, man. Thank you for that, by the way.
Very cool.
More than
we make a nice team, don't we, Sean?
Yeah, y'all do.
Yeah,
bro. Yeah, y'all do. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
one of the people asked, "Is the suit real leather?" No, because the real suit wasn't leather either. I've seen this question a couple of times, and we're experimenting with a couple of different ones. We've narrowed it down to, I think, 2 right now, and we got one where the what did the guys from the factory say, that they could basically guarantee this thing 5 years in the sun or something crazy even. So it's definitely got the huge longevity. So it's a sort of a silicone latex hybrid that we'll be using, but there's a good chance that it's not, that what you're seeing on screen now is not the final suit. But if we change, it is because it will be better. So that's one question. Are they going to answer the question of the little people? I don't know what your question is. So why no maskless, full-haired, battle-damaged Catwoman? Well, 2 reasons. 1, we had to draw the line somewhere, and we're already at 6 sculpts. And 2, because this is our first figure, I did not want the complexity of a full head of hair, which had to be styled and all that sort of thing. So if this goes well, I do see the option of something like that coming in the future. It seems obvious to do that. But right now, we made a very conscious choice not to do the fully unmasked versions. So, Mad Predator, will these sell out? Eventually, yes. There is a pre-order window, and that is as soon as we lock in for production. And I'm not quite sure what that is. That might actually be quite soon, where I have to commit to the number of bodies made. So that could be as early as December. And then we do the same as we always do. Why no diorama for the penguin lair for battle damage? 2 reasons. 1 is we didn't want to add more costs, and early feedback on the dioramas was that people were saying it's usually box fodder. I don't display any dioramas. I don't have the space for it. You're putting stuff behind a paywall. And secondly, why do a diorama of the penguin when you're already developing a penguin, which could have a penguin lair diorama, and then you put your Catwoman with the penguin figure, right, Sean?
Yeah, we're already working on this. Don't worry.
Yeah, Sean is already full on committed on working on penguin, and
so real quick, from because I have to say this, she's not here, but from my sister Susan Damon, Blue Susan. We were on Victoria. Shout out to Victoria's Cantina. We were on her show on Friday night. And one of the things that she was looking for, she was like, do you think someone will actually make a diorama of the balloon or the float from 89? Like, she said people would actually buy it. I was like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
People would. But no, that would
take
be
up the whole room, I think.
Right. Just to see if that would actually work. We got a $5 super chat, but my man, 12-inch Moose Dream. I'm overjoyed. I have my orders in on kit. I have 2 in there. I have the Batwing 66 Batmobile, Snow Speeder 95 Batmobile, 22 Batmobile. So definitely. To answer this question, because like I said, I did want to get back to this one real quick because it was interesting that, and I do see your wife at Brand. Look, teamwork makes the dream work. You already know. That's what I'm talking about. Real quick. So the pre-order aspect of it, since basically they're up right now. Right. Now we know that. So there's a window of when they can actually pre-order. So say for instance, if someone doesn't pre-order today, they can pre-order tomorrow. It'll still be there.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's the same thing as with our vehicles. I'm very glad with all these early pre-orders because we calculate this to a certain number, and a certain, and then we get a certain price. But if we go over that number, I can start adding stuff for free. So if everybody would wait till the last minute, it'd be a bit of a shame because then I've locked in. Because I couldn't add stuff later. So
come on, let's have some more stuff.
and on top of that, like I said, pre-ordering earlier kind of guarantees you a certain spot where you're not last on the list. You know what I mean? So we're seeing these things. You know what I mean? You get in and you want to be basically one of the first to get it. So I mean, put your money where your mouth is right now. This is something that It's been out. We've been talking about this for months. I'm so glad to see the outpour of, and especially somebody sent me a message. They were like, tell Sean Debs he's giving off Mark Strong vibes. He sort of looks like Mark Strong. I was like, I was like, he actually does a little bit. You'll take that.
Yeah,
definitely. But yeah, so no, this is definitely a super duper excited. What was the decision? And I guess one of my questions is, what was the decision behind going full diecast on the claws versus, could have easily, tried to say I want to play it safe and not really go through anything else and just have just plastic, claws, or just, mimicking it, but you just went full-fledged ahead on that. What was the thought process? And did you bounce around that idea and say,
yeah, because we've come back from that. So the thing is, with the claws, we looked at the diecast stuff. Not only would we lose a lot of detail, the other issue that we ran into with the claws, if we wanted to make a metal, is the tolerance of diecast is quite bad. So
yeah,
if you have to put them on the finger of the hands, there would be a chance for some people, let's say 5% of them, that the claws would fall off because of the tolerance issue, where the finger is turned out slightly smaller than expected and the claws slightly bigger. And then the third thing is that the people from the suit factory were kind of nervous that we were actually including metal claws on the suit. So instead of adding 10 claws, we're now adding 90. So you don't have to worry about them fitting, taking them on and off.
It was a bad idea. Well, we tried so many different ways for every part of the costume. We had fabric corsets, and then we had the sculpted corsets. We had the fabric boots. We had the 2-part boots with articulate. We tried so many different things. We have to try everything and then kind of narrow down what is the best option. And I loved the metal claws idea, but in practicality, it wouldn't have worked. Can you imagine just trying to and then trying to figure out like which claw goes where, because they have to go in the right places.
Exactly. So I love the idea and it sounds very cool. But if even 5% of people would have them be unusable, that's just not an option. It's basically the same thought that we had for having the mechanical canopy on the 1989. There, the rejection rate would have been even bigger. It could have been like 20% of people, where maybe not on the first try, but on the 10th try, you got your family over and check this out, and the thing will lock up, and that's just not an option.
See, that's the thing. Is like, that's why I'm glad my space is down here where no one can touch anything, because I know literally, bro. The other day I was down here working. I had a client, and Toya, she brought her nephews down here. They're little, but they're young enough to know, and she kept them away. They didn't. She just wanted to show them everything. She showed them. Joost, I swear to you, they stood around the Batmobile for 35 minutes.
Wow,
35
that
minutes.
Is amazing.
Right here, they stood there and didn't move. They stood there. She particularly wanted to show them that they are 89 Batman fans and they're only 4 years old.
Wow.
And that's the thing, is they're twins and they just stood there the entire time. She took a picture of it. She'll send it to me, but I was like, I'm gonna send it to him once you send it to me. But yeah, they definitely loved it. But no, again, like I said, it made so much sense for what you're saying. Like, you have to look at the practicality, but also longevity. You know what I mean? Like, what would make the most sense? And I was even thinking, like, even with the metal claws, someone will end up posing it a certain way, because you know how dynamic. Like, for instance, we got one of our 6-scale posers in the community right now, who we know, and that you've worked with. He likes to pose. So both him and we got Dan in here as well. They love to pose figures. The problem is, it's like, if you move it a certain way and it's scrubbed across the material of the suit, you run the risk of what could possibly, would it be like any permanent damage? So you got to be really, really careful about stuff like that. So there's a lot that you guys think about during that process. I do not envy you in that process. Literally, I know. And just imagine, and I was thinking about this the other day, how many tests you've ran, how many tests you've actually had to go through with the piece, making sure that fits well, making sure the head sculpt is to scale, making sure everything, that process has to be hell. Did you ever think, like, Gills, before making that transition from vehicles to figures, did all of that cross your mind like
No.
1,000 times over before you got in this process, bro?
No, this is me, and this is why I keep getting into these situations. I'm always like, yeah, we'll handle it. And then when I'm in it and like, oh man, I mean, why did I do this? And I honestly did not expect the level of difference between the vehicle collectors and the toy collectors. Both are 1/6 scale collectors for high-end stuff, but there's a very different group of people right there.
Yeah. Address this right now. Again, people have to understand, if you're in a North American market, that will be an issue. There's only two places you can actually get it from right now: Spec Fiction and 1/6 Kit. So those are the two that you have to go through. So we have to basically put that up here. And I do want to remind you, if you're trying to pre-order these things right now and you're in the North American market, 1/6 Kit or Spec Fiction. Those are the two places right now that you can actually get it. So just want to kind of put that out there. Sean, with you, I have to keep thanking you, bro, because I have behind the exterior right now, I have this biggest bubble of a smile in me over this right now. Like, literally, bro, you don't understand. Like, you know, when I'm talking to, like, you know, my lady about this, when I'm talking to so many people, this was definitely my childhood right here. And to see this in fruition and stuff like that, you as an artist, you look at the challenges of other companies that try to do these things, emulate these things. We already know, and Yost, we talked about this. We already know that once this drops, there will be other companies, I'm not going to name, that will try to emulate and take advantage of it. And we always think about this like, yo, if you had an inkling, and you had the license for it, you could have done it a long time ago, but you wait until you see somebody else throw, their bid in, and they're doing an incredible job with it, and then you want to do it. So when you think about that process, like, what goes through your head knowing that, okay, this is the possibility that there's another company that might come around and do the same thing. I'm just going to do my best to make sure I have the best possible representation and just receive the love as it comes. What's your process like? What is your thought process behind that?
Do you want to take this?
Yeah, no, I think he's asking to you. He's asking you.
Yeah, it's for you.
It was for both of us. We were aware of this, and we wanted to make it the best. Now, there were some. We were going through like so many different expressions, and you was looking at what the public response was, and saying, "Look, can we do this expression? Can we do that expression?" Expressions that I would have never attempted before because they're so tricky. Like, you've got the extreme expression with all the teeth showing, and I love that look, and also the battle damaged look. And then you've got the other one with the teeth, and sculpting teeth with 1/6 scale heads. I think everybody knows that it's very tricky to pull off. We know the Paul Rudd man, you know what that HC did, but these, as going back to your original question, it was about trying to make the absolute best. So I was just determined to get this right, and that it drives you. It helps to push you to get the very best. And I'm so happy that you pushed me to get these expressions, because I'm just really happy with them. Me in particular. For me personally, these two different expressions of the extreme angry and the one with the clenched teeth, meow. Head sculpt. These were very difficult to get right, and I'm really happy that we managed to nail them down. That's like a personal achievement for me.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome, and I'm glad that we did push beyond it. So this is the beauty of how the process went, right? So I only said that we could maybe do the 3 head sculpts if we did not do the rolling eyes, right? Now we end up with 3 head sculpts and doing the rolling eyes, but we never would have had those 3 head sculpts if the early people we talked to was like, yeah, you could just as easily do 3 head sculpts than 1 pair of rolling eyes, and I was like, okay, let's do that then. And in the end, I'm very happy that we did this.
Yeah,
You know,
I almost want to dedicate. I'm not almost, but I know I'm going to dedicate a special place for this where no one will touch ever. Like literally, no one would ever touch. Sean, you were going to say something?
yeah, I was just going to say, a customer contacted me a couple of days ago, and he said, "Will the final product be as good as the promotional images that you're putting together?" And I said to him, I think it's going to be better. It's going to have a better custom body. It's going to have a better suit. And it's going to have the rolling eyes. And we're just going to keep on pushing and tweaking. And this is how Joost works in his company anyway. So, we've got the next few months to make it even better. And anything that I've missed in the sculpts and anything, little alterations and fabric details. And the public keeps on giving their feedback and advice. So,
Yeah, and yeah, we know the public will continue to give their feedback. It's you already know it's a nonstop. It's definitely a nonstop adventure with it, and I think I love the way Jazzinc. I think that's pretty much why people respect you as much as they do, is because of that level of transparency that you are having. I can't have. I mean, I'm just gonna call it out. I can't sit down and have this conversation on Hot Toys. Very rarely can I basically sit down and have this conversation with an InArt. I haven't had it. I haven't talked to them in like almost 2 years. You know what I mean? But for you to sit down, and I think the community definitely appreciates that level of transparency that you have up, even through a lot of adversity. You still do this. You know what I mean? Because it shows the passion, and you're not this unyielding. You know what I mean? At that point. So we definitely respect that. And Sean, you coming on here, man, I'm like, I'm a kid in the candy land right now. Like, I'm just like, this is like really, really, really phenomenal. Now, again, we got a lot of people out there. Do want to stress and just say this again. You're asking about the price differences, when it comes to what was announced and what you're seeing through these companies. And to me, it's not the first. We've seen this before, with products, that's definitely been announced. Do you want to touch on that? Because I know a lot of people were talking about, specs, upcharging this, or, kit is upcharging this. It's totally different cost from what was announced. I know your wife is out there also addressing a lot of
yeah. So let's talk about that. So there's a couple of important differences here. So first off, both spec and some 1/6 kit already include shipping in the price, which we don't. So there's a big difference right there. We don't believe in charging shipping up front because shipping charges can change wildly. The second thing is that they accept PayPal still because they're outside of Europe. They can accept PayPal, but PayPal takes anywhere between 5 to 8% of fees. So there's another 5 to 8% difference. Then, of course, they have to make a buck too. For all the work that they're going to be putting in starting today. So there's the third bit of difference. And then I see somebody from the Netherlands, Jeroen, saying that 1/6 kit is cheaper. Well, that is because he doesn't have to charge VAT. And I do, because you're in the Netherlands and I have to charge 21% VAT from our government. So there's that. But so their margins, believe me, are very low. They are much lower. That's why we selected them. They are much lower than any of most of the other resellers, let alone the big boys, which I'm not going to name. So
I get you, bro. That's there you go. There you go. We got my man Payne in here, bro. What's up, Payne? He said shipping costs, stuff like that. What's going on with you, Payne? Thank you for being here, brother. We got my man Darth Negative. I need that Lael discount. Where? That's my guy, though. I love having him here. Why people can't do the math and pricing? Jazzinc is a retail price and add shipping at any VAT. Kit is free shipping and not us sales tax. Specs includes shipping, but has to charge us U.S. sales tax.
Yep, exactly.
That's basically the way it is. So going into it that way, you definitely have to know, that's how it is, man. So look, they're going into it, and a lot of us, I hate, I don't like really using the veteran collectors. I'll just say for those of us who have been collecting for a long time, know that there is, that space for it, for something like that, to be. So definitely get it. We got a $9.99 super chat. Can we reach out to you, or do we have to go through the company we ordered through for any issues we may have? Also, how will shipping be handled when batches are complete to these outside companies?
All right. So can we reach out to you, or do we have to go through the company we ordered for any issues? I think for 1/6 kit, it makes most sense to deal with kit. For spec fiction, we will do this. This is just a simple logistics thing. So trust me on that. For 1/6 kit, I think he will do it directly, and maybe we'll help 1/6 spec fiction. Maybe they will deal with it themselves. Also, how will shipping be handled when batches are complete to these outside companies? So it's not like what I hear from, say, InArt, where people like spec fiction are really at the end of the chain before they get their stuff. So it's going to be first come, first serve, like we always do, and we try to do it as honestly and as possible. Now, for us, if we do all the orders, it's simple because my wife is there, and she just can go down to the nanosecond of when things were ordered, and then that's how we ship them out. But like when things in this case break up a little bit over different continents, it might make sense to play with a couple of weeks, but it's going to be like a month of difference between them. We're not talking waiting 6 months if you order through one versus the other. Also got a question from my wife. She said, just as as Lael, as you mentioned her name, her screen froze. So now she doesn't know what you said.
Yeah, tell her.
I said that basically you said when her screen froze, you said I could do so much better, right?
No, tell her I said thank you. She's answering questions out there as well. I like the teamwork. I really love it.
Yeah.
Mark P is asking how accurate is the battle damage suit.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I, through the research that I was able to do, managed to find the original props of both the standard stitches and the battle damage stitches that were being sold as casted pieces in prop store, and so extremely accurate. You don't see from the images here. We don't see the flesh, but she's got the rips in her shoulders where she should do, and then the rip on her front just there, and then she's got some rips on her side. You can see on the image on the left where her legs are showing. So this is the reason why, one of the reasons why we chose the seamless body, because her shoulders are revealed. It would have been horrible for the joints to be revealed instead. Very accurate.
Palal asked a very interesting question. I saw this. Shout out to Palal for being here as well. He does ask an interesting question. Is there a plan if Hot Toys and InArt announces a figure as well?
I'm not privy to that. All I can say is when we submitted it to Warner Brothers for approval, there had not been any other submissions. That's what I know. Do we expect at least one of them to do it, and especially Hot Toys? Yeah, probably. Most likely that's what they do, or even just tease it, which is another reason why we wanted to go the extra mile. This is one of the reasons that put me over to doing the rolling eyes, because if there ever, I don't ever want there to be a release where people were like, that one's better. Because I'm pretty sure Hot Toys will not be able to do, or will not do, these extreme sculpts. They won't do several sculpts. They won't do a seamless body, I don't think. And now that we also have the rolling eyes and the real hair, I'm like, I hope they do.
Yeah.
There was a reason why Hot Toys had not developed their Catwoman. They announced it I think about 10 years ago now. Yeah. And as me and Joost now know, it's a very, very complicated figure to create because of a number of different reasons. And I understand why they didn't make it. But
yeah. So maybe I'm going to take over your role a little bit, Lael. Sean, can you tell me a little bit about all the things you went through, because basically I kind of cheated when I approached you, because you had already done so much of the work before I even arrived on the scene here. So could you maybe take me to maybe one or two cool things that you could tell us about the process before we joined?
Research-wise, or just the...
Well, let's go for what drew you to this, because I've seen your art station work, and she is the main person that keeps popping up. You've done these awesome paintings as well, where especially the one where it's fully unmasked and the hair's wild. That was basically the one that clinched it for me, where it's like, I need to get Sean on this, period.
Well, I made a prototype version for myself years ago. One of the first versions I made was a battle damage version. I'd seen toys or statues made of her as a regular costume. I'd never seen any made in a battle damage costume. And so playing about with 1/6 scale, I was also, this was before the company started to play with real hair. I was thinking, why don't we put real hair in the figures? And as far as I know, I was the first person to experiment doing it, because it was quite easy, putting it in the holes of the mask. And so that was an interesting process of like discovering that and thinking, this is going to catch on. I think people are going to start putting real hair in figures, and this is the next step of the 1/6 scale evolution. That was really enjoyable to kind of witness that afterwards. And then other companies as well. I've got a feeling that other companies, because NECA did a great version of a 1/4 scale figure of Catwoman. They did this battle damage version, which happened to be the exact same expression that I made a few years ago. So maybe not. Maybe, she's an iconic character with iconic expression, so maybe it's not connected. But it was fun to witness these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just to go into the character and do all the research about how exactly things are made, and try to recreate it as well. That's difficult. And as you were saying about how the factory is come up with them as an idea for material, is a combination of silicon and what was the other?
Latex.
You see, the PVC they used in the film, in order to create it, to make it shiny, they used spray on silicon in between the takes, and that's why it's always looked kind of wet and shiny looking. So when you said that, I was like, this is great. This is another kind of win for us to be able to find these new materials and things that we can now. I suppose that the working with these factories that have got experience with all these different companies, we're in a position now where we can really push things forward with what we can create.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's very important, because I like that you mentioned that on the set they actually sprayed it down to make it look like this. So just to let you know how difficult this actually is. So for those who didn't know yet, I think I've mentioned it before. On set, there were sometimes it was just a few takes, sometimes a whole scene before the suit was ruined and they had to get another suit.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to make it to last.
Yes.
They have to make it to last a scene. There is a huge difference, and then make it look right, even though they did all these tricks with the glued on strips, with the making it shiny with a bottle of silicone spray. So, yeah, all I can say is don't underestimate how hard. And this is the same with everything we make, right? They cheat on set all the time when they can, and why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But we have to make it practical and make it work for a long time, right?
Practical and sensible, and it has to definitely have. There's common sense behind this whole process, especially if you want it to last for a long period of time.
Yeah.
We know that how many suits they've gone by so many times of filming, and how many suits that they had to tear her out of so many times it happened, and that's costly. And I can only imagine how much it would cost, in figure format, 1/6 scale format, to kind of make sure that it lasts for a long period. We know that not everything that carries that level of perfection that we want, but we do our best, right? So I'm pretty sure
exactly.
It is basically where it's at and how you're going to accomplish it. is definitely going to be, nothing short of spectacular. So we got a lot of people out here said they secured it. We got one question by my man. Two questions. We got, one is, I'm gonna go to the next one after this, but we got one by my man Spice Runner. He said, yo, is any chance you could make a Zoe Kravitz Catwoman? What's your response to that?
What's our response to that, Sean?
We've got a lot of things in the fire, but yeah. I'd love that. I'm just waiting for you to give me the green light for the project.
Yeah, well, we did a poll, and I think she's currently running number 2.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a matter of time.
Yeah.
What's number 1?
A Panther suit, Val Kilmer. But I'm still holding off that Hot Toys wants to talk, because the thing is, next year is their renewal, and if I can explain to them, give me direct access to the world, and I will make supporting characters, and you can do all the high selling stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if they still block us in the United States, then we're starting our own Batman stuff. So we're going to make an accurate 1989, an accurate Batman Begins one.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I might say Panther suit is in my back pocket, but we'll start with Zoe Kravitz after Penguin. So Zoe Kravitz is actually quite high on the list.
Yeah.
And Poison Ivy is right behind that. So Poison Ivy is also a matter of time, people.
Yeah. That's the thing. Is like, I know a lot of people have wanted, a lot of people are saying, because here's the thing, and the crazy part about it is, bro, there's a lot of people that have refused to get the 2022 Batman because of the simple fact that they haven't done a Zoe Kravitz. There's a lot of people that said, oh, I'm not getting it until they release, or at least we get a Zoe Kravitz figure. And I'm like, because we know that the marketing scheme and the promo for it at that time was the Bat and the Cat. You know what I mean? That's what they were basically pushing, and it made so much sense marketing wise. So for them not to do it and miss the mark on that, a lot of people said that they're passing up on it. So, definitely you would be the first. You would be the first.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the latest poll results. Right, Val Kilmer, Panther suit has 270 votes. And then in the other one, but going back to what you were saying, Lael, they should. I don't understand why they don't do that. I don't understand why they didn't do a Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean, if they can sell Arkham Knight Batgirl custom painted, what was it, gold and pink, then you can sell enough units of Michelle Pfeiffer. Same goes for they did a Sabrine Wren. So if you can do Sabine Wren, right?
If you can do a Sabine Wren, why would you not? I mean, you're doing a lot of supportive. Hell, the crazy part is, and I don't know if you've seen this announcement the other day, is that Matt Mikkelsen is going to be at Star Wars Celebration, and they're doing a Krennic. You know what I mean? Or not a Krennic. They're doing a Urso. You know what I mean? Figure of him. Which again, he didn't occupy but so much screen time.
Yeah.
But you're still basically doing a worldwide release for that. But you can't give us a Zoe Kravitz. It doesn't. But yet you're blocking the opportunity for other people to do it. That's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It hopefully that kind of changes it, the trajectory of it, and we see something a tad bit different. But here's for hoping. Where are you at? Where are you guys at with the Poison Ivy? Because man, that
wow,
incredible.
Sean.
Well, we've got a basic prototype again, because Uma Thurman has a very particular body shape. It would have to be a custom body again. But we've already got a prototype made. I'd like to do some changes on it, but and update it.
Yeah. So right now, for the last 6 months, we've been waiting to hear from the Uma Thurman team.
Gotcha.
So we've submitted what we have, the first prototype, but we still haven't heard back from her, even though we've heard back from Michelle Pfeiffer, from Michael Keaton, from We've got approval for some 1966 figures.
Yeah.
And recently we've submitted approval for the Zoe Kravitz based on the early work that Sean has done. So right now, Uma Thurman, if she responds at all, which I don't know why it's taken 6 months, that would be pushed back to next year. And definitely Zoe Kravitz Catwoman will be first. So if I'm looking at the votes now, it's 270 for the Panther suit Val Kilmer. It's 230 for Zoe Kravitz. And the rest is way behind. So I think Zoe Kravitz stands a very good chance if I decide to send one more message to Hot Toys to let them know I will stay away from the Batman if I can ask you guys if I can do the B characters, and maybe that's why I could go for Zoe Kravitz first. I haven't decided yet. It also depends on who comes back first with a response. So Val Kilmer or Zoe Kravitz, I don't know.
I know that's just the tough part about it is you can mock up and do prototypes and stuff like that. The idea is there, but then you got to wait for the team to respond. Yeah, especially giving you the respond that you would actually want from that aspect of it.
Right.
So I can only imagine that's crazy. Question though. I want to talk about this right here. I want to talk about this diorama base, man, because look, I mean, I had already decided like I'm looking at it, but I'm also going to add like some artificial snow around it because I just wanted to be back to the Raptors with snow. But this is phenomenal. What was it? Because I know at first thought when you talked about it before, there weren't any plans to do like the LED light up on this feature. What changed? Like what was it? Just basically the response that you got back from everybody else about the diorama base that made you decide, hell, we just might as well go ahead and do it?
Yeah, and it's also, by the way, that's another question I saw. It's going to be USB powered. Yeah, and we just figured out a way to make it USB powered, basically.
Got you.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's this the concept behind this to do this diorama. It just made so much sense, and I can only imagine because it's like a complete backdrop of where I know a majority of the photos are going to come from. You know what I mean? And
absolutely,
you know what I mean? It's not a gargoyle or anything like that. It's not her standing. It's actually her standing in front of the window. That whole process is just, I mean, literally incredible. We got 350 people in here watching. Make sure you hit that.
Wow.
Get us up to 350 likes, please. If there's 350 people out there watching, 350 of y'all can hit that like button right now, and that's for free. You're not pre-ordering anything for me. All you got to do is hit the like. That's all it takes. And I thank you very much for that. And we got any other questions out here? Anybody else?
Oh, yeah. I got a couple of them that I wanted to address, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let's start with Jonathan R. Will the base have a figure stand or will it be magnetic? So we're going to be going with a magnetic base and magnets in the boots to make it really strong. And the magnetic base will have at least 12 magnets. So you're pretty flexible in where you can put her. The elements in the window. So there's the window and there's the curtains. Those are separate pieces. Then the hell here is also a separate 3-dimensional piece. And then in between that, to give the impression of the stuff in a room, that's going to be printed. Next question, are the Catwoman boots cut off split? No, we're going to make them one piece because we looked at the split boots and did not look good.
We made a prototype of it and it looked awful. The laces, they didn't, you can't split it, like all those laces.
No, it does not look good. We are so the supplier who's going to be making the boots said he may know a way to at least get some ankle articulation in those boots. Then Ryan Cook has Danny DeVito given you the green light? Yes, that's a good question. That's because Danny DeVito said yes, and Sean is currently working on him together with Andy.
Wait. Did you say you're doing a Danny DeVito penguin?
Yeah. Yes, sir. And he's already working on it.
And Danny DeVito actually said yes.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Because remember before the rumor was back then, he was like, nah, I don't want my likeness out there. And he actually, wow.
Yeah. So we have approval, and together with Andy, they're working on some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Is it correct in saying that there might be, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, that there might actually be a working umbrella in there somewhere?
Yes, that's the plan. We plan on tackling all of his umbrellas in some capacity. We want to do it again, like with Catwoman. We want to do him right. I'm working on his portrait at the moment, and I'm working on Danny DeVito from 1992 first to get his portrait right before I add the prosthetic.
And we're also making the mayor suit, because there's already a version out there where he's in his underwear, basically in his long johns. We're also making the mayor suit
with the coat,
with a working umbrella, with a fully haired head sculpt. With
hold on, I gotta single you on that one. Tell him, talk your shit, talk your shit right now, bro. Go ahead, talk it.
So it's going to be a Danny DeVito approved, fully licensed Catwoman penguin, both mayor suit, and an option to have it out, or of course a 2-pack again, working umbrella, probably several umbrellas, including the hypnosis one, maybe even umbrella stand. But this is Sean and working together with Andy, so maybe Sean can say what the status is and what's.
Well, there's another feature that I'd like to add. We've got Penguin in his overalls. You know, in the when he's in the sewer, Penguin in his overalls, and as an option, we're going to have Penguin final battle with all the green color stuff coming out of his mouth, on his beard, blood on his hands, and that's going to be fantastic. We're really excited about it. So you can pose him in 2 different ways for that the sewer outfit as well.
Yeah,
and we've got those ideas for accessories.
Exactly. So maybe an umbrella stand, some kind of sewer diorama, so that you can also place our Catwoman in there. And like I said, I'm very, very excited to have at least some, or at least one actually working umbrella. That is so cool. So thanks to Andy, I think, or was it you, Sean, that knew a company that
Andy Naloff, well, we're working on it together. We're developing his body together as well to make sure it's exactly right. I've done a rough sculpt of his body so far. In all its disgusting glory.
And then some penguins with rockets, of course.
Yeah, he's going to
either we're going to include some of them. It's probably going to be a bit of both. So maybe in the DX have at least a few penguins in there, but maybe have like a full penguin army as a separate set. We're still playing and toying with that. So you'll have the mayor penguin, you'll have real hair, you'll have the sewer penguin, well, the final battle damage penguin, you'll have umbrella stands, sewer stuff. You've got the rockets and the penguins, and the penguins are going to be actually fuzzy, like we did with our Falcon cockpit chairs, which are actually feel like they are. There's actual. Yeah, well,
could you imagine this right here?
Exactly, sir. With the smirk, that is possible.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
So that's the next thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you. Sean, go on, dust them shoulders off, bro. Dust them shoulders off, boy. You know you doing your thing. I'll go on, do your thing, man. I know you. Oh, wow. This is exciting. This is definitely exciting, man. Love that, bro. That Falcon cockpit. Yeah, the Falcon cockpit for everybody. They're loving that, bro. Everybody's looking behind you. It's like, yo, that's incredible.
Yeah, and so Lael, you know what the chair feels like. So imagine having penguins with that same fuzzy structure. Yeah.
Wow.
So
wow. Can you get the O and the T and hello there to flicker?
No.
No. He said, nah,
not now that the price is set. The other thing I see is the duck vehicle. I want to wait on is the hype reel with the Catwoman to see what kind of numbers we end up getting, to see what we could expect for the penguin, to see if a duck mobile makes sense. I'm very open to that. I've seen the question a lot. I actually have a 3D scan of the dock. I think the dock vehicle. I still have to check it, but I have that. So, but look at the size of that thing. It is the thing is so big that I'm worried.
Massive,
Huge.
bro.
I like the functioning parts though. I think it can be fun.
Yeah.
It could be fun.
I want the toy Batmobile.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that, but I don't think there'd be enough interest. I think it's hilarious. You know, when he's squashed into that little Batmobile and he's controlling
the real Batmobile. Yeah. Make it an accessory. Well, Jose, make it an accessory. The thing is, the thing you're looking at here, that duck at that size, just materials and tooling alone, you're looking at $250 easy. And taking up a lot of space, even more than the Hell Here diorama. So I want it. I want to offer it. I just don't know if it's going to be viable.
Yeah. I mean, because that's it's, I mean, even though it's not as, you know what, it's crazy because when I'm looking at it from the aesthetic, you know, that is, as much as I want to say it wouldn't be as complicated as the Batmobile.
True.
When I'm looking at the paint though, I'm like, would it be like, you know, I mean, would it not? Not that it would be overly, but there would be some complications with this.
The paint and the battle damage is that this is quite a complicated paint job with many shades of orange, red, and green, orange, red, and yellow. And the thing is, even if it's not very complex, as soon as you scale up parts to this size, and I think this is a 50 centimeter piece we're looking at there. Yeah. That is quite expensive to tool because as soon as you expand in size, the cost go up exponentially, you know?
Yeah. Like, yeah, bro. Like, yeah, I definitely get it, man. But I mean, just to know that this is on your zeitgeist to do, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Just to know that the possibilities of getting this version is here and that Danny DeVito said yes.
Yes,
I can't
sir.
believe that, bro.
Yep.
Everybody's out there like, yo, he actually, can you imagine this discussions in forums right now? Like this, you know what I mean? Like people are like, yo, he actually said, yeah, come on, man.
Yep.
Like that's incredible. X-Men Supreme said, dude, the duck mobile is a must. People want that duck so bad. That's incredible. Joost and team, would you consider doing after the 1/6 scale Firefly license since we all got burnt with XMX? QMX, I'm sorry.
It's actually the first time somebody asked me about Firefly, so I don't think so, especially now that we're talking to MGM for a couple of cool IPs as well. And we got so much to do from Warner Brothers Batman, let alone other Warner Brothers stuff like, I don't know, Goonies, Gremlins, that kind of thing, right? So right now that doesn't make sense. So we're waiting how to see the MGM talks go.
Gotcha. Nah, I mean, so look, so much out there, so much to definitely focus on. So I can only imagine, you know, you try to take it one at a time, like one piece at a time, and what's going to definitely work, you know, the best for you guys. So, I mean, this right here, I mean, I can only, I mean, just the process of what goes into everything that we're seeing here, you know? Like literally, you know what I mean? Even all the way down, because just the intricacies, even with the newspaper, you know what I mean? And the cats and, you know what I mean? Just I can, all moving parts, all functioning parts, you know, from the, you know, the arms, like the different interpretations of the sculpt itself. It's a task, man, but I'm glad to see that there is a response by, you know, from the community in this, and like people are really loving it. Come on, man. We got 365 people in here watching, which is huge. Like definitely
for a live stream.
For a live stream for me, that is. I mean, I've seen, that's probably the largest I've actually ever had. So thank you very much for everybody out there who watches and who's actually supporting. But do me a favor, hit that like button if you haven't already, and subscribe, because again, that's what means the world to us here, you know, and I'm pretty sure it means the world, you know, to Joost. So definitely make sure that you're doing so. Any other questions we got out there from these guys? I mean, I don't want to hold everybody up too long, but you know, definitely I will, like I said, once, because now I know the question is, you know, everybody's like, Leo, did you order yours? I haven't done it yet. And the reason why is because we're doing this. And on top of that,
I'm here. Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm basically right here. I want to do it, but I want to take my time to do it. And I'm still trying to I mean, because one of the biggest things, I'm not going to lie. And, you know, to be quite honest, when the announcement was made that the North American market was blocked from getting us directly from you, it was a bummer. Because that was my intentions, that first and foremost, as soon as it went up on your site, boom, pay for it, get it out the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was definitely the intentions. Now the whole trajectory has changed. You have to basically decide who is the better culprit. You know, I you know, people already know I still have my Batman all-in set on order with Spec Fiction, and I haven't received it yet. You know what I mean? So that right there is, I guess that's what brings up the question of when it comes to distribution, because we know like companies such as InArt have had issues and they've openly spoken out about that distribution. As far as distributing, they were over their heads and they didn't know and realize the process. Are you prepared for that? Like just like the thought process behind what it would be once it's ready to go, once it's ready to release, the expectations, you know, are you already ahead of that particular curve right there?
Yeah, because we have the experience with most of the suppliers already. And one of the suppliers we're working with is a very close friend of Kit, turns out. So, and I've done business with Todd. I have the InArt Joker set from him. I've got some other stuff. So I'm not really that worried. Yeah, so it's going to be okay.
Yeah, people said Spec Fiction takes forever. We'll not see this for 2 or 3 years.
No, there's no reason to think why stuff from Spec Fiction will be years behind us, because I'm in charge of that.
Yeah, exactly. So different. Yeah, Leo Kid said he's expecting more Batman figures in November. Hopefully yours gets sent to Spec as well. Yeah, right. Thank you, man. I'm hoping. I mean, because the thing is, here's the thing, and because I already talked to them, and one of the biggest things that I do understand is that we're talking about their relationship and the difficulties that InArt is experiencing right now. You know, what they're dealing with. Again, they had a plan. The plan didn't basically fall through the way it was supposed to. And this is where we're at. They're still sending them out in batches. And again, when I hear batches, I'm like, okay, that gives me a better understanding of the process. So it's like, for me, hopefully it arrived by the end of this month, or it'll arrive next month before Christmas, hopefully. You know, hopefully it arrives on my birthday next week. Who knows? But, you know, I had to kind of exercise a level of patience right now for it. But at the same time, I'm still trying to decide who I want to get it through, you know, who I want to kind of go through. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's pretty much where I'm at right now. But I know everybody is like, man, we wish that speaks, but that also speaks so much for how you were, because I haven't heard a lot of complaints about people getting it directly from you. You know what I mean? Getting anything directly from you. I know any of my transactions from you have been, you know what I mean? Like, it's like that. You know what I mean? I haven't had any problems. Whenever it ships out, I know there's transparency there. And that's the whole beauty of the process. But I know that with every other company, not every company works the same way. So I know the experiences, you know, from you with, you know, Spec Fiction, from you with Kit, is going to definitely be, you know, different. So just want to put it out there for everybody who has a level of reserve. Hey, just know that there's things behind it. You know, there's processes behind it, and hopefully things will work out. We got your boy Mitchell Lawrence, Knight Rider, Michael Knight, and Kit next. Everybody's been pushing for that, bro.
I know. The Universal people are really not in any hurry, so there's no news. I'm beginning to think maybe it's dead in the water. I still want to do it. I'll still keep pushing, but for now, it's like the Uma Thurman thing. There's just nothing going on. So the other two questions I did see. So people ask if I still keep doing vehicles. Most definitely. We're working on the 1968. We're working on the animated Batmobile. We're working, and after that, There's still the next 1966 project to discuss with the group. I know the 1997 Batmobile is only a matter of time. We're still in talks with EON for possibly doing the James Bond DB5. So as long as I can keep making vehicles, we will definitely be making vehicles. And then to answer the other question that was coming in regarding the animated series specifically, right now, I've recently discussed the schedules again, and it seems like it should be feasible to have a prototype for the animated Batmobile by the end of November. So even if things take another detour and get more delayed, I still think before Christmas you should see a physical prototype, which is really fast. Oh yeah, the Tumbler, of course, Raul. Sorry, the Tumbler is also in early development. I forgot that one. So before we get to any other new vehicles, the Tumbler is next. That is right. Thank you, Raul.
And you're doing, so if I'm correct, you're doing both versions, the camo and the regular version, or just the regular version?
I'm sorry, I have to correct you there, Lael. We're making 3 versions.
Oh shit! I didn't. Well, okay. Hey, okay. So you're doing 3 versions. So
yeah, because you got.
What are the 3 versions?
All right, so and there's a possible 4th, but let's talk about the 3 version first. So you got the one that you saw from Batman Begins, right? So that's the black one. You saw that same one in The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Returns, however, is the first time you see the camel version. Now there is a camel version the way Hot Toys did it. That's just a repainted one from the earlier movies. However, there's also one where there's a tank canopy on top. With with a different window, a different thing on top, and a different gun. And then there's maybe a 4th version, and we're looking into if that's even possible to do with some switch out parts, where instead of the big gun, there's another thing on top. So roughly speaking, there are 3 basic vehicles. That is the regular one, the camo one, and then the tank camo one. And there are variations of the tank camo one as well that I'm aware of. So we'll be making 3 versions.
Wow, man. Okay. Well, I stand corrected. You heard it right here, man. Not 2, it's 3. Again, that just shows you how far out of the loop I am. But hey, this is where it's at, and this is where you get those questions answered. So, anything else, like Sean? Anything that you want to talk about or let people know? You know what I mean? As far as like your adventures in this whole thing in the process.
Well. I just wanted to add as well that the future of the figures for Jazzinc will be determined on how successful this Catwoman will be. So if this Catwoman sells well, then basically you guys are going to keep me happy for a long time, because you have so many great projects lined up for me. And the same goes for other related projects for this. We was discussing a possible unmasked head. Side characters like Max Shrek and other Batman universe. Somebody, I saw a comment earlier on. Somebody was asking about a potential what if Two-Face of Billy D. Williams, which I would love to do, but I have no idea about the licensing with that, because it doesn't actually exist in the film.
And even without the what if, Sean makes a very good point here. This was so hyped. There was so much chatter. If it delivers what I expect it to deliver, then there is that. Then the Duckmobile is on the table, but Bob the Goon from 1989 is on the table. Vicky Vale is on the table, which is those are deep cuts, right? Max Shrek
as well.
Max Shrek is on the table. So Alfred. So it's all. If people put their money where their mouth is, and we've not had this kind of hype and messaging and views and whatever for any other project. So I do expect a lot. And if we do that, then we can do the deep cuts like Bob the Goon. That's a pretty deep cut. But and Hot Toys would never touch that with a 10-foot pole. I know. But but then that becomes feasible for us, right? Maybe not to the level that we can do with Catwoman with a diorama and a seamless custom body and all that sort of thing. But Bob the Goon could be fine with a regular body and some really good sculpts, some real rooted hair, movable eyes. Just thinking out loud here. So, Sean is right. The community decides how this moves forward and how much we can do after this and how deep we can go with the deep cuts.
And if you like this, if you like what we're doing, like he says, put your money where your mouth is. Buy the projects so we can make more and we can strive to be better. I mean, we've got so many ideas of how we can push things forward and innovate and I think one reason why I wanted to team up with Jazzinc was because what they were doing was so different with the vehicles. They were like, Joost is like, I'm going to make these things that nobody else is making, and I'm going to. My business plan is so different. I'm going to be transparent from the beginning and show everybody the process. I love that because it's so refreshing, to have that outlook and transparency with people about. Yeah, right. And this is the thing. I mean, used to saying from day one, but today, how long it will take the process. But the fact that he will be posting updates and it will be showing people exactly what we're doing in the back, and the process that goes behind it. I think the wait won't feel as long. That's what I'm saying.
Got you.
You'll be able to see it being made.
Got you. No, that's what it is, man. Like I said, the process of getting more is to support what is now. You know what I mean? And again, this Catwoman is getting an overwhelming response, and it should. And I believe it will, for people now. And I think, now even making this announcement about the, Danny DeVito Penguin is even going to push this even forward more. It's one of the most iconic scenes, with the bird and him with the umbrella and stuff like that. Like that was, incredible. So just to know that, but again, in order for us to get the things that we want, for the future, we have to support these things right now. So again, I appreciate everybody out there who's been saying like, look, I pre-ordered this, I know in the very beginning, it seemed like there might've been some hiccups with getting in, but just give us some time because the response they had just released at that time. So, I think it's not now, keep this in mind. This isn't like an exclusive release where you're waiting on a link and you have to get in a queue and then you don't get it. You have time to get this right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Zach16 is asking what the difference between the battle damage suit and the non-damage. So one thing that I want to implement for our future suit, which is not as apparent in these images, so all these little details we pick up along the way, is that the corset and the boots are more worn, so they're not as shiny. So that's one thing. And also there's specific holes in the suit compared to the non-damaged suit. So you're going to have rips and holes in the suit where you can see the skin underneath. Again, this is why we chose the seamless body. Yeah. You're going to have like bits of thread hanging everywhere in the battle damaged suit compared to the non-damaged suit. So overall, there is a big difference stylistically. It represents her psyche kind of crashing down towards the end of the film, and this is represented in a costume and a suit. So whereas at the beginning she's sort of empowered, and she's got it's all shiny, and she's got this strength within her. At the end, it's all kind of ripping apart, and we're as screen accurate as we can be.
Definitely.
Can I get a big screen here? This is a big moment.
Yes, let's get a big screen. How are you? Nice to
meet you. My wife, Janneke.
Well, I was putting out fires left and right, but I'm good.
You're doing such a great job back there. Like amazing.
She is amazing. This whole Jazzinc thing would never have been here without Janneke. I mean, seriously, who would allow not only your husband to collect this kind of thing? There's not a lot of women. and then to allow them to take over your garage for years to build this stuff.
I'm not thinking about that.
She still cries herself to sleep. And then it is the better half, indeed. And then she puts up with all the collectors and all the questions by working for us. This
It's been a crazy ride.
That is correct. I mean, I've known her since 98, so we've known each other for 26 years. We've been married for 21 years this year. And
wow,
she made it easy. And I kid you not, I love this woman very much. And I love that she came in here to show her face for once.
Bro.
But she's always there.
I'm a grown man, bro. Don't make me cry on camera, bro. don't do that, bro. Don't do that. They've already seen me cry enough, man. Don't make me do this on camera, man. I ain't trying to do that today. Cut that out. But no, congratulations on definitely the success of this. This is completely awesome. I mean, the response that we're getting in the chat. I mean, people are actually messaging me about it. We got over 332 people in here watching right now.
Yeah, that's great.
And I can just only imagine everybody that's out there trying to order this, and nothing but the best for this. Like I'm once I'm off and once I get settled, I'm going to actually order mine. I'm still talking like literally, like I'm just like, okay, who do I go through? But I already know who I'm going to actually go through. I think.
Yeah, to make a decision.
Yeah. And plus the simple fact that shout out to Jay, because definitely I have my brother cousin's card, so I'm gonna use his card to basically purchase this. Shout out to him. But no, definitely, like I was just
Benjamin. I'm sorry, I see stuff coming up in the
definitely.
in the chat.
But just the sheer fact that you guys, just watching how you guys function and how you work together is phenomenal. Like, and that's,
they are so patient with the public as well. Like, they
yes.
Every question.
Well, you shouldn't always see us off screen.
Like, oh man, are you kidding right now?
I can only imagine it, but I mean, just the patience that both of you basically put out there and the level of transparency. That's what it's all about. When you build it together and you watch everybody's response, it means a lot to us. So I just want to say that. Thank you so much for all that you do. And I'm looking at the chat because I'm like, all right, she's out there. And I'm saying to myself, if y'all better be effing respectful. Because if you're not, I'm sitting up here clenching my hands and just like, you better be respectful. But no, thank you so much. And I'm pretty sure, like I said, the chat out there, they definitely appreciate it. So much, and you are the embodiment of what a functioning family should be when it comes to a business and how you should work together to see its success. And you can tell that it just shows it's definitely successful. So we appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
It's nice, eh?
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you go now. She's not comfortable.
I'm going back to the mailbox.
So definitely thank you so much. We got second brother in the building. He said, love what you guys do, and you're loved and appreciated. You definitely are. Dynamic duo, you definitely are. But I think it's definitely like, I think, even, Sean, you've become a part of that family as well. Like what you've done and what you've contributed. That's huge. Like this is definitely a momentous occasion, for something like this that we've loved, and everybody out there that responds. So I thank you guys out there, everybody who's been respectful. You've been asking the right questions. There's been no hiccups, no issues. And yeah, man, this is definitely special, man. This is special, and I'm glad it's going this way for you. For both of you. You know what I mean, Sean? I wish you definitely much success on this, man, because you deserve it. Now that it's out, I know you can sit back. You probably gonna sit back and somebody bring me something. Bring me a drink. Bring me something. I need something real quick. So I can only imagine, man.
There was a lot of work, but a lot of love as well that we put in. A lot.
Yeah, and there's one more thing I want to add here, because like I said from the beginning, I was very eager and excited and even scared to get Sean on this. But then it's not a given that you work well together. And Sean, publicly, I love you, man. This is amazing. We've had some great months together already.
We have.
And you're part of the core team, going forward with the figures. So if the public support says you're going to have a lot of work for us for a long time to come.
Yes,
So
please support us, because this is my favorite job of all time. It's my favorite boss.
Yeah,
And, this is too good. So
man,
please,
it's a
keep my
beautiful
dream
thing
going.
for us,
Yeah.
even from us content creators who are sitting back watching it and can be a part of this journey, man. Like it just means so much to us, you know, for something that we love. You know what I mean? I've only been streaming now for like about 3 or 4 years now. You know, I've only been doing these live streams, and just to see the progression of where you guys are right now, and being a part of it, and actually being able, it's a dream come true for a lot of people, man. So, you know, definitely you guys rock in that aspect, man. You're giving us, you know, a place, or you're giving us space, time, and on top of that, we get a chance to hold your artistry in our collections in our hands. So I cannot wait. Sean, I'm gonna probably send you a picture of this Catwoman splattered all across that Batmobile and so many exotic poses. I don't care. Let's go ahead to it, because it's going to be incredible. I cannot wait, man. I definitely cannot wait.
Thank you.
Any final thoughts from you guys? Anything that you want to say?
I'm just feeling the love right now, like
yeah,
a lot.
I was going to say, basically throwing it back to you, what you just said, and to all you guys that have been supporting us in you know, me throughout the years, and Joost Jazzinc, and now us together. We've been able to do what we love. This is such a great gift. So you say that we're giving you a gift. You know, you guys have been doing the same to us.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I met you for the first time in another stream, Lael, and look at this. And you were the first to say, on the day we're going to do a live stream, and I was like, cool, and I'm going to join that stream. So that's how these things go, right? It was just, it's all spontaneous, it's all love, it's appreciation and understanding. So
and it kind of helps to push that needle forward, man. I just anything I can do to help, you know, and I think that's what it is. It's a collaboration, or, you know, a collaborative effort, you know, from us. You know, we're creators who talk about these pieces. We want these pieces, and we get it out there in the most, you know, best possible way. We showcase your work. I mean, that's just, and it's like free marketing, bro. It is. It's free. Like, you just basically, like, we're like your marketing team, bro.
That is cool.
That is. It's like we're your marketing team, because I'm pretty sure you're gonna make your round. It's almost like what do they call it? Like when you have like the movie stars who go on like their
the press tours, the press junkets,
sure after this you're gonna be on a full press junket press run. So I'm glad it started here. As fun as it has been, man. Yeah, man, definitely. I appreciate that. Everybody out there and the people who are watching, we definitely thank you. Go out there right now. Remember, Spec Fiction and also 1/6 Kit. If you're in the North American market, that's where you can actually get it right now. Secure yours. You have a few days to do it, you know, so it's still out there. If you haven't already pre-ordered, make sure you get those pre-orders out there right now. And again, if you're part of the Facebook group, the Jazzinc Facebook group, you know, they're always there to answer questions, and, you know, they're always putting up just, you know, with full transparency, just the updates on different pieces and stuff like that. Who else does that? Who else does that? I mean, just plain and simple. What other company does that? So you have to only imagine how far it's going to go and continue. So from us, you know, from us, the community, everybody out there, we thank you guys for being here. As always, Sean, thank you so much. I might even end up, like, once I get mine, I might send it to you so you can sign the box and then send it back. I might definitely do that, because that would be incredible, bro. But thank you guys so much, man. Everybody out there, I see you cheating ass Dan out there. Cheating Dan is out there as well. He said, thank you for doing this, Joost. I'll be looking forward to having it in hand. Definitely. We got Mitchell Lawrence out there, Keith, Olivia, everybody out there who's been watching us, and Benjamin E. Green, you know, PS, everybody who's been watching us and carrying on with this. Thank you very much. Again, after you get off the show, if you haven't pre-ordered it, make sure you do that right now. From us to all you guys, we definitely thank you so much. I thank you guys for being here once again, man. You didn't have to do it, but you did it, and I just wish you definitely much success going forward, you know what I mean, with this. And everybody out there, I'm telling you, if I can't say it enough, Pre-order now. If you want to see other things out there, if you want to see other things coming, if you want these figures, if you want these pieces, if you want to see them do more work, it starts here. Just like you've done with vehicles, it starts here. Get it in hand, enjoy the success so we can move it forward. We get more. Like sometimes what they say, in order for you to make money, you got to spend money. So this is basically what it is. Now we need them to, we got to put money in them hands and get the product out there that we want. So definitely make it happen. So we appreciate y'all. We definitely appreciate y'all, man, as always. So again, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification. Make sure you get over there to Jazzinc on Facebook and Instagram, and YouTube. Make sure you do that too. So all the updates. Sean, when can they reach you, man? Of course you don't want people. Facebook, Sean Debs on Facebook.
Sometimes it's a bit busy. I might take a while to get back, but I will.
Yes.
I will answer.
Definitely. You can reach Sean Debs on Facebook as well. You can see his work as well. I mean, you've already witnessed his work, but you get to witness it even more. I'm a fan. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of both you guys. I can actually tell the president of the United States, well, I know these guys are more popular than y'all. So you already know how it is. So anyway, thank you so much, man. Thank you for being here. Everybody out there, I'll talk to you guys later. And yeah, it's been a good one, man. Peace out.
Thank you.
Love y'all.